Finding or building a shelter is the most important survival consideration in many biomes, even in mild or hot climates. A well-built shelter will enable you to shield yourself from the weather, including wind, rain, and snow, and allow you to conserve body heat by proving insulation and often letting your body heat warm up the space. Additionally, your shelter also serves to provide security. Not only does it help provide safety from wild animals, but it is also insurance against equipment, food, and other supplies getting damaged or eaten. Even so, for the uninitiated, building an outdoor dwelling is not always as straightforward as it may seem. Here are 10 common and primitive shelters that every survivalist should know how to build. Designs of varying difficulties and suited for many different conditions are included. 1. Lean-to. 2. Debris shelter, cocoon. 3. Platform shelter. 4. Ramada. 5. Teepee. 6. Leaf hut. 7. Dugout, pit shelter. 8. Snow cave. 9. Quinsy. 10. Igloo. 1. Lean-to. A lean-to shelter is one of the most popular shelters in temperate wooded areas, or even more Arctic conditions, and is often seen in TV and film. It includes an open front and a back wall. The shelter depends on a fire in front of it to keep it warm. Therefore, it is best suited to areas with plenty of wood available. How to build a lean-to. 1. Install a crossbeam between 2 trees, or between 2 other branches. 2. Lean further poles against this to form the back wall. 3. Insulate the structure using leaves, branches and any other material available. 4. It is advisable to build a raised bed underneath the back wall to provide insulation from the ground. 2. Debris shelter, cocoon. A debris shelter is another quick, easy to build shelter suited for an individual. If you are in a group, you will each need to build your own shelter since cocoons only really fit one person. How to build a debris shelter. 1. You will need only one long pole which needs to be longer than your height. Prop this up using 2 Y-shaped sticks on one end to form an elongated, 3-sided pyramid. 2. Make sure you can comfortably lie in your shelter. 3. Using shorter sticks, create the walls on the long sides of your shelter along the entire length of your long pole. Start by using thicker sticks and increasingly gather stick debris and place all over. 4. Cover the structure with leaves to create the best possible insulation. 3. Platform shelter. If you are in a situation where safety from ground-dwelling animals or other people is important, a platform shelter will allow you to stay in a less vulnerable position. In essence, a platform shelter simply refers to a raised platform on which you can sleep. There are multiple different issues to take into consideration when building a platform shelter to determine if it is suitable for your needs, and if so, what you need to look out for. Should I even attempt to build a platform shelter? First, you need to consider if it is at all possible to build a raised platform and build it well. Depending on what material you have available, this might not be possible. Often, it is better to build a much simpler shelter since platforms are labor-intensive. How high should I build a platform shelter? You will want to consider why you require a raised platform. If you want to decrease the risk of a scorpion, snake, or other insect bites, a raised platform that is 50 centimeters off the ground will likely suffice. This is the best course in tropical environments. For example, a low platform shelter like that will also keep you dry if heavy rainfall occurs or the ground is already very wet. You will likely want to use a suitable tree with solid branches, as otherwise, this type of shelter will be too difficult to construct. Don't forget the roof last. The platform itself might protect you from animals and groundwater, but it will not shelter you from the elements. Therefore, you will want to consider what type of shelter you will want to build over your platform. For lower platform shelters, this is often a lean-to. For higher shelters, you will have to consider how to construct a roof, using branches, or a tent, depending on the conditions. 4. Ramada. A ramada is a shelter with a flat roof but no walls, or only partial walls. This is particularly useful in situations, like in desert climates, where you need to shelter from the sun, rather than wind and cold. The sun during the day can pose a significant risk, and it is best to seek shelter during the hottest parts of the day to avoid heat stroke and dehydration. To build a ramada, you will need at least 3, if not 4, sturdy poles for the corners, as well as material for the roof. This can either be branches fastened between the poles, or a large tarp, or other fabric if you have it available. If you do, this can make build, especially in desert areas where raw materials will be limited. How to build a ramada. 1. Anchor the poles in the ground a sufficient distance apart, more than your body length, in a triangle or rectangle shape. 2. Secure branches across and cover with debris, a tarp, or other fabric. 3. Build up a bed with whatever debris is available. 5. Teepee. A teepee is traditionally made from animal skin strung over wooden poles. The main benefit of these is their portability. They are essentially a type of tent made from raw materials, with the distinct characteristic of a smoke flap at the top. This allows you to build a fire for cooking as well as heat inside without causing unpleasant and dangerous levels of smoke to accumulate inside. Teepees can be large enough to house groups of several people. They are quick to assemble each day after traveling, which means that you can maximize your travel time if you have a destination in mind. These days, it is significantly easier to use ready-made fabrics. A large tarp or other fabric would be suitable if you have it available, but you can also consider sewing together other pieces of fabric you have available. Therefore, a teepee is best for situations where you have been able to prepare directly before your trip and are able to take suitable materials with you. 6. Leaf hut. A leaf hut is a cross between a teepee and a debris shelter. It consists of a significantly large wooden frame made from long poles, covered in leaves, moss, or other insulating material. The benefits of this over a debris shelter are its size and comfort level. Unlike a teepee, they do not have the same portability, but instead, they are easier to build from the materials you may find around you, especially in wooded areas or shrubland. You will likely require several more large poles than you do for a teepee to create a sufficient framework, which is then covered in smaller twigs and then leaves. With sufficient material around it, a leaf hut can also be more insulating than a teepee, although it is less suited for having a fire inside it. 7. Dugout, pit shelter. A dugout is a shelter that has two key benefits. First, it requires fewer raw materials, as you are digging the shelter into the ground beneath you. You will need some material, such as poles or a tarp to construct a roof, but you do not need material for the walls. This is beneficial in arid areas with fewer trees. The benefits of a dugout also include its size and customization possibilities. You can easily create seating and storage space in the ground by digging out more space as required. If you ensure suitable ventilation, you can also have a fire inside your dugout, although this will be less useful for concealment. The amount of effort needed to create a dugout does mean you should consider carefully if it is the most suitable option, but if you are intending to create a long-term shelter, this is one of the best options. 8. Snow cave. A snow cave is a hollowed-out structure built into an existing snowdrift. You will need a shovel to build one, otherwise, you'd probably freeze to death while building it. Inside a snow cave, your body heat will allow you to maintain a temperature of up to 0 degrees centigrade even when outside temperatures can reach up to -40 degrees centigrade. In combination with the shelter from wind chill, snow, and animals, a snow cave makes an excellent way of sheltering from the cold. How to build a snow cave. When building your snow cave, make sure you are in a safe area free from avalanche or tree fall risks. 1. Compact the snow drift down by walking back and forth over it. 2. Dig out the structure. Make sure the entrance is lower than the main sleeping area to best preserve heat inside the cave. 3. Build an insulating layer on the floor to keep you off the cold ground. 4. Create ventilation holes. This brings up an important point. There are some dangers associated with snow caves. 9. Quinsy. A quinsy is a structure very similar to a snow cave. It is made from first creating a pile of snow and compacting it to a suitable size, before digging the shelter. This allows you more flexibility when choosing a convenient and safe location for your shelter. These include marking the quinsy, including where rescuers should dig for you in case of collapse. Insert a hiking pole or branch near your head to create a ventilation hole in case of collapse. Keep tools inside the shelter to aid digging yourself out should the entrance fall down. 10. Igloo. An igloo is built from the ground up using blocks of snow, rather than by digging out the structure. As igloos are typically larger than quinsies and snow caves, they are better suited as a shelter for larger groups, although small igloos are also possible. Igloos need to be built in the correct parabolic shape, as well as making sure the dome is stable. They are typically built in a spiral for best stability. This can take considerable skill and practice, so an igloo is best suited to the more experienced and prepared survivalist. Understanding why shelter is important. If you are spending the night outside, or if adverse weather makes conditions dangerous, you will require shelter to survive in the wilderness. The biggest danger in the outdoors, especially overnight, is the loss of body heat. This is why building a structure properly is important. Of course, you will be best served if you have a tent or bivy sack with you. However, this may not always be possible. Whether you are caught in the wilderness by surprise, or your equipment has become lost or damaged, knowing how to protect yourself from the elements is always an important factor for survival. Thanks for watching our video of survival tips and tricks into the wild camping. Don't forget to subscribe our channel so you don't miss any latest video we have upcoming in a next survival situation.